Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Unturned Podcast. I'm your host, Kukui Charles, and we're joined by a very special guest, P9.
Yo, yo, yo.
Now, this is a very one-off episode. No means am I coming back to any schedule to the podcast, but this was just something fun I thought we would just do. Because honestly, it's been a long time since I've done an episode. I think it's been more than 2 years now. And it'll be fun just to, talk about Unturned again. And who knows, maybe I'll come back for another episode. But this is episode 66. Next episode will be 67, so we'll see what happens then. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about Unturned. I think it's gonna be an interesting topic. Pina, how you feeling?
I'm good. I'm good. It's been a while since you uploaded the last episode, right?
Yeah, it's been a very long time. Yeah, 2 years. It's been over 2 years, I'm pretty sure.
2 years. Bro, it doesn't feel 2 years, man. Time
Yeah,
flies by.
it really doesn't.
Crazy.
It really doesn't feel like it's been 2 years, but it has. Um, yeah, it's like some things have changed, but some things have not. It's kind of interesting how that kind of works out.
Yeah, well, a lot of things haven't changed, sadly, and that's part of the reason why we are here today, I think.
Yeah.
Just talking about a few things. But yeah. How are you doing? Are you okay? What have you been up to, Charles?
I've been doing well. Honestly, just a bunch of IRL stuff, and then been in and out of playing Unturned from here and there. Recently, I've been playing more Unturned in preparation for secret things in the future. If you know, you know. But yeah, everything's been very good, and it's honestly kind of fun to come back here, just talk about Unturned again after so long. Sometimes when I get into like conversations with people about Unturned, it's like, oh, I wish I wanted to do the podcast again. But either different time constraints or whatever just makes me not want to do it because I just sadly just don't have the time anymore to really do stuff like this. Luckily, I have some time now, and I think it'll be fun just to do this like a one-off thing. So yeah, let's get right into it. Honestly, I think enough of introductions and talking about random stuff. Let's talk about Unturned. Unturned itself. I know that's a very rare concept on this show because if anyone remembers our track history, that's very very rare. But yeah, Unturned. Um, what can I say other than like, man, Unturned's in a weird state right now. I think Unturned has been in such what I'm specifically talking about is like the vanilla gameplay created in like modded stuff have always been like pushing the envelope. I don't really think there's anything really to be said there, but I'm talking about actually the vanilla gameplay for a little bit here. It's such in a weird state because we had the recent contracting of like dog food, right? To make the workstations and a bunch of other crafting recipes that were added to the game to basically kind of correspond with the workbenches, like the making of the med kit, and I can't even remember the rest of the stuff that was actually added that became able to be craftable. I honestly don't remember them all because some of them are just very
I
like
think so. The first thing is the simple workbench.
yeah.
Then there's a chemistry lab which you need
Yes.
to craft charges with. Can't just craft them on the go unless you place them on a vehicle or salvage it. And there was like an oven and a
The
dry
oven.
rack. Like those two, I don't know. Is it an oven? I've never
Yeah.
crafted any of those
The
two.
giant furnace, the dry rack for I think was that dyeing, the food station for the
Yeah,
advanced
yeah.
foods, the sewing station to fix your clothing and to make the spring pants, the cargo spring pants, um, which to negate fall damage. So yeah, they added like how many is that? Is that
Oh damn.
that's a bunch of
5, no?
workstations. I don't know. I can't count. But they had a bunch of
I mean,
workstations.
to be fair though, have you played much since they've added them?
Yeah, actually, yeah, on
Since
and
those
off.
were added?
I actually was recently playing a vanilla server, for like I think it was like about a week, and kind of like playing around with stuff. I was kind of annoyed by some of the decisions that were made, to put things behind like workstations. I think the most people were upset about like the dressings being behind workstations. I'm honestly kind of like
Yeah.
iffy about that. I think it probably shouldn't be because I realistically think that the chemistry station should be able to make better meds like the blood bag and like the med kit like and I think you can make vaccines too through that. But like, you should be able to make better medical supplies other than restricting the stuff that you kind of always could make, especially dressings. Right, dressings were such like a thing that everybody would always make, and it kind of felt jarring to kind of like reduce it to just bandages as your go to medical supplies in the early game. That was kind of
Mm.
annoying. I think also that I was pretty annoyed about is specifically like leather clothing being behind the sewing machine. Because like if you were playing like Unturned and you found like an animal, like a cow or like a deer off the beach, and you're able to kill it, right? You would be able to make clothing, and some of that was like decent clothing. Like the backpack was always nice if because backpacks are a little harder to get. And the pants, right? The leather pants were the same amount of storage as police bottoms, if I remember correctly. So it was always good to kind of go for the animals in the early game to have early clothing. But now it kind of gets it like the leather clothing, except for the makeshift vest, I guess, has become kind of like redundant because by the time you get a sewing station, you should have pants and a backpack because you kind of need other resources to make the sewing station. And by the time you get those resources to make the sewing station, you already have clothes. So like I think the leather clothing was a very like weird thing to be put behind like the workstations. I think dressings was a weird decision. I even think kind of like general repairs, like some repairing, I think is fine to be put behind the workstation, but some of it also was kind of a little weird. Um, I think yeah, I think that.
I mean, to be honest with you, I know that a lot of people that didn't like the dressing part, that you just couldn't craft dressings on the go anymore. I get that because after that, and I didn't really play much after, not much vanilla after this update. In general, I haven't really played that much Unturned lately. Well, barely any Unturned the past year or so. Just because, like, I don't know. It's just, it's, we'll probably get to this a bit later, but this is, the game has just become stale for me because I've always kind of enjoyed the vanilla side of things and try to find a populated vanilla server these days that isn't on the Russia map. You won't. That's the thing. Sometimes once in a while you find one with 10 pop, you join, and after like an hour, there's no one on the server anymore. And that's about it. You have fun for about an hour. But whatever. What I'm trying to say is so the thing with the dressings is at least you kind of have a purpose. Like the base gives you more of a purpose now, I feel like, with the workstation in general. Like before, you never needed the base before. But now I feel like there's a reason to have a base to get this better meds. And with the blood bags and med kits, I feel like those things aren't really used that much in vanilla anyways. It's because they're too rare to I don't they're just too rare to make sense. Usually it's just dressing and that's fine. You
Yeah,
never in vanilla you don't get in situations where you have to use like that many meds at once. It's like the fights are very spread apart, you know. It's not like the team keeps TPAing and stuff.
mhm.
So for pure vanilla, it's kind of I think it's kind of a it's interesting. It's interesting that you need to go back to your base to make dressings and you need the chemistry lab and everything first. I mean, bandages aren't terrible. I mean, obviously, dressings are much better, but it's everything that kind of incentivizes people to get settled on the server, build a base, progress your base to have this chemistry lab first is, I think, in general, is a good change, personally. And the one thing I don't get about workstations, though, why you need a workstation to craft a metal door.
Yeah,
It means you have to first build your base, or at least like a foundation, then the work, the station, and then you can make. By the time you have your door, and you can just get raided or like killed.
yeah, you're right.
Like you basically built your entire base, but you leave the door for the end, which is kind of and the if the wooden doors were lockable, okay, but they're not.
Yeah, you're right.
And there's still
I
people,
completely forgot
and
that was
there's
a
still
thing.
people that okay, sorry, go ahead.
No, there's still people that think the wood doors are lockable.
Yeah,
Yeah, there
yeah,
should be
yeah,
a
yeah.
note. I think there's a note on it now. I could be wrong though. But yeah, that's still kind of silly because I do see people still building with wood doors. Yeah, I forgot that the metal structures also are behind the workstation, which I don't know how I really feel about because I think disincentivizing building by putting it behind the workstation is kind of like I still find that kind of weird, because I think building an unturned is like very rare. People don't build an unturned, so kind of restricting building in that manner was also I think not really a good idea. But yeah, I think if anybody's listening that could change that, the door should be not behind a workbench because I think that's just kind of silly.
And since we're at the topic of doors, this is one of the things I never really understood. If you like, no one first, no one. If you put, I don't know if it even says that the wooden door isn't locked in the description of the item. I'm not sure, but I wouldn't know because no one checks it anyways. Rename the item, rename the door unlocked maple door or whatever, and then name the metal door locked metal door. Like, it just makes it so much easier to understand. No.
Yeah, I
Like
agree.
if you craft a door and it's called unlocked, maybe people think, "Oh, how can I lock it? I don't know how I can lock it." But don't know. It's like at least they don't just build a base thinking it's a locked door and it's not.
Or add a symbol to it saying that it's like has like a unlock symbol to it so people know that's oh it's an unlocked door. Um,
Or that, yeah.
yeah, just something that will like make it discern. Which honestly, I think some of the building supplies need to be changed. Their icons need to be changed because some of them just look the same, and it just kind of again if you put like a post and a pillar next to each other, like in the craft, like in your inventory, and you had to make someone like random like guess which one was which. I bet you 100% it would be a 50-50% like guessing the correct ones, and I think that's a problem.
Yeah.
I think that's a
And
problem still.
same with the roof and the foundation.
Yep.
They're pretty much the same icon, and it happened so often where I had to place like a foundation and a roof. I placed the one thing first down, and then I realized, oh shit! Like now I'm left with the foundation, can't place it on top.
Yeah.
This has happened to everyone, I'm sure.
Yeah. I agree. Honestly,
It's very annoying.
there should be there's a new station idea, a new station of a decrafter. So instead of doing damage to like a maple floor and then picking up and get the wood back, get a decrafter for all the wooden buildables, so you get the wood back. There you go. Yeah, that's a great idea.
There you go.
Yeah,
New vanilla update.
yeah, and I don't think people would hate that. Nobody's gonna be like I don't think anybody would hate
No,
on
it's
that
just
decrafter.
not really. No, it's just like it would be like an exclusive like item, right? That you just use.
Yeah, yeah. I
Like
think
you place it
honestly,
in your base, and then you can decraft stuff with it,
yeah, I think
structures.
that wouldn't be a terrible idea. Honestly, there needs to be more like if anything, the workstations should have been more of like not gimmicks, but like side things that should have allowed you to do like more interesting things. But while incentivizing a base design, like imagine like the workstation was like a saw, right? Like a giant saw, and you could decraft stuff. So like the stuff like the generator, right? Like you're able to get a generator and decraft it before the workstations. Like that was behind now a workstation where you have to decraft it through that, and then get the resources back. That would have been interesting because personally I would have because if you're decrafting like generators and like spotlights, if you're even picking them up in the first place, you're either going to use them or destroy them for their parts. So I think making that behind the workstation would have been a better idea because only the more kind of people who are going to stay there for the longer and have like bases are going to be looking for that. And I think that would have been like a great like, hey, let's get the decrafter or like the sawmill or whatever, so we can decraft more of the more bigger items that we find while looting. And incentivize people staying in like the larger cities because everybody knows you could just stay in a military location and maybe go to like a city once for food, and you basically survive. So I guess that would have been probably a good idea. Um, yeah. What do you think?
No, I agree with you. I mean, I feel like any extra content like this, that it's like, if someone doesn't want to use it, then as long as it makes sense balancing wise, I feel like adding something like this can't really hurt. I mean, if someone doesn't want to use it, they won't use it. That's it. But I also feel like, so what I noticed is with Unturned, you have mm, so many different like decoration and like furniture types, as like the you have the fridge, you have the sink and all that stuff, the counter. but they're all the same. They're just storage, and it just feels it's just for decoration at the end of the day, which again is nice to have, but I feel like it would be so much nicer if everything had its little like use. Like maybe the fridge would, I don't know. I mean, I was gonna say keep food fresh for longer, but that's not a thing either. But something, I don't know, like something. Um, and because the when you've mentioned the decrafter, the thing is, what I would what I don't like about like base building in general. Sorry, I don't know where I'm going with this. What I'm trying to say is what I don't like about base building is um how it's just tedious and the upgrading just takes so long.
I agree.
Like
Yeah.
if you are trying to if you're trying to upgrade from a wood to metal, you're salvaging the wall, and then all the lockers and counters which aren't even sticking in between, which are like just close to it, like you have to salvage all of them. Maybe they're all full of loot. You have to get everything out, drop everything to then replace it. And at that point, it's not really like upgrading anymore. It's like building a new base.
Yeah, I agree. Literally, I don't know why we haven't petitioned, like the community petitioned to make the hit boxes of like the locker, like the placeable size of the locker to be smaller so that it doesn't clash with the wall. I don't know why we haven't instant like basically implement what Arid did for its building into the actual game. It just makes building so much more better. Like I don't understand why we're still dealing with that type of nonsense, especially when we should be incentivizing base building. I bet you that's a huge attraction from building bases is literally upgrading them to the next level, like of metal or brick, and having to pick up everything. I think people get really annoyed at that. I mean, I get annoyed at that all the time. I remember suggesting like a long time ago that the PDA should be able to replace wood walls with metal, like no matter what. Um, like wood walls or wood structures with metal, no matter what, without having to pick them up. But I don't know how technically difficult it is to implement that into the game. But if we're not gonna have like a system like that, honestly, just make the actual like I don't know what the exact the hitboxes of the placeables before like it says like thing is blocking wall or some kind of note of like what exactly is blocking the wall from being placed. So I don't have to guess by picking up a bunch of stuff and then figure out
Yeah,
it's this like I don't know the lamp is blocking the wall from being placed. You know, something that
that's
didn't
true.
matter.
That's sometimes you don't even know what is blocking it. True. It's
Yeah.
just no, it says what is blocking it. No, it actually says, but it doesn't say like which exact like if you have a wardrobe that is blocking it, it just says wardrobe, but you don't see which exact wardrobe. Maybe you have like 20 there.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it does say what's blocking.
You're right. You're right.
It
Some of the
it,
objects, yes. Yeah.
it does now. I think it was added at one point. It used to not say it.
Yeah. I forgot there was. It's just yeah. That I think there needs to be a revision on like just building stuff in general, just to make it more easier and actually not be as annoying because it is pretty still annoying. Just for the
It's
pausing.
super annoying.
Yeah.
I've never I don't think I've ever played a survivor game where base building is that annoying. In general, everything that comes with it. For example, on my what I did on my semi-vanilla service is I've added an item that if you have the resources in your inventory, like how it takes 10 scrap to for a metal wall, right? So if you go up to a wooden wall and right click it, it upgrades. It takes those 10 scrap and upgrades the wall and like drops the old wall. Like I don't understand why something like this can't be added to the base game. Like who would say no? Who says, oh, you know what? I like taking everything apart one by one to then craft the new structure first of all, drop half of my inventory in the process of that to then, everything. It's just so annoying, man. Just thinking about it annoys me again.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is why I always have a 2x1. That's it. I don't even bother with big bases because I have a 2x1 wooden usually. And if I want to play on a server for longer, I build a separate base next to it, which is full metal. I barely ever upgrade mine. There's no point. It's just annoying.
It's just too tedious. I agree. I agree. Actually, this reminds me of the new stackables that were added to the game. Along with the workbenches, I think they were both added at the same time. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure if you know that P9.
The what do you mean?
Was the stackables added alongside the workbenches, or were they two separate updates?
Uh, I can't tell you for 100% sure. I don't think they were together, but I'm not 100%.
I think they were close in updates. I'm just forgetting if it
Yeah,
was.
close for sure. Yeah.
I think the placeables, the stackables. Finally, we have stackables of something like metal, cloth, rope, wire, bars. I'm forgetting, and also the wood types, right? Like and bricks.
Yeah.
Like I'm glad that they are added, right? But the one
Yeah.
issue I have with them in their current form is they're way too much health. Especially like also like if you're trying like to break someone's metal that they placed, you have to sit there and like either shoot it or use a chainsaw or like a knife to like break the actual like placeable. It's so ridiculous how that's even a thing. I don't know why their health is so high, and also I don't know why we can't just pick them up like as players. Like I don't know why we can't just pick up a placeable item. You know what I mean? Like the scrap should be able to be picked up by anybody. It shouldn't just be like a like an item locked to you because it doesn't really make sense. And I mean, I don't know. I think the health needs to be changed or be able to be accessible by everybody. Everybody should be able to pick up like a stack of scrap or like a spool of wire. You know?
I think on Arid you can pick them up, right?
Yeah, you can. Anybody can pick them up.
But I'm not sure. I've never really played Arid, but so balancing wise, how is it? Because if you can pick it up, means that all you have to do is raid a base, and then usually they have so much metal, whether it's in a storage or placed around, you can just pick everything up and then use it obviously for you. But like balancing wise, wouldn't it be better if the player didn't get that much metal, like when raiding a base?
I mean,
Does that make sense? Because there's like the metal that is, um, if people can pick up the metal stacks, let's take that as an example. There's always like more and more metal that is existent on the map, unless it's being used for bases, obviously. But all the stacks, they will never like, unless they despawn, they will never disappear. Does that make sense?
yeah, but I mean, all you got currently the current form is if you destroy them, they drop themselves. Like they're able to, you're still able to get them. It just takes like a long, tedious process of sitting there
Wait, if you
destroying
destroy
them.
them, they you can still get them.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what I'm saying.
okay.
That they should be able to just be picked up, or like
Hmm.
their health should be reduced because they still exist if you destroy them. It's just annoying when you have to find like a wall of them, and you're like, well, I'm not gonna waste bullets or explosives to destroy these. I'm just gonna sit here and destroy them one by one with my chainsaw, which is really annoying. And honestly, like the scrap, I love them. I love that they're able to be picked up once they're destroyed because you shouldn't be incentivized to not only save your storage, right? You're saving storage by being able to place this metal down. But you should also have in the back of your mind that like it's so easy for somebody just to take this metal. I should use it to build my base or to build something with the metal, right? So I love the idea of the downside of not putting this in the locker is that they're easy to be get by other players, but also if you don't want it to be easily gotten by other players and take up storage in your lockers, use the metal to actually build your base or build something else with it. And I think on Arid, that's kind of like the concept that most players found. Like, I have all this metal, like, and also I think the idea of seeing all the metal just stacked there, you kind of have in your mind, I have so much metal, I need to do something with it, as opposed to having it in lockers, and you have to look at every locker individually and see what you have. So, like, in the player's mind, there's more of an incentive to be like, oh yeah, I have a lot of metal, I should use this, other than like, eventually stumbling upon how much metal you have in your actual like lockers and being like, oh yeah, I
Yeah,
do have a lot of metal.
that's that's a good point. I have played a bit of escalation, and you can also play stacks there. And on escalation, it was definitely the case where I thought like, oh shit, like I have so much, like I stacked up so much metal at this point, or iron ingot or whatever it was, the metal
Mm-hmm.
thing. Um, I also thought, yeah, I better use it now because I have so much. Like, what am I just stacking this for, right? And if I just had it hidden somewhere in storages, then yeah, I maybe wouldn't use it.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's probably just like a side effect, which which is still good, I think. If
yeah,
people just use their stuff.
yeah. It would be good incentive to inherently make the player be like, oh yeah, well, I need to actually use this stuff, and also keep them there longer. Because the big problem with Unturned, this is more of an encompassing problem, is that there really isn't any like, sadly, like now, I guess is like a more of the problem with Unturned is that there's no real incentive to continue playing the game after a certain point. you can walk into a military location and get like the best gear, and then what, right? Build a base. That's kind of the end game once you get to that point. And everything
Yeah.
else is kind of like I guess like made up. It's like kind of like not real end game. Like you have the end game items, but like every other part of the end game is just made up by the players who play them. Like the end game of a multiplayer server is not the same end game for somebody that's playing it in a single player world. So it's kind of like once you get to that point, it's like what's the point of continuing? Other than I guess for whatever made up goal you had in your head, right? Either be
Mm.
dominating on a multiplayer server or building like something magnificent on a single player world. And the game needs more late game. I think, in my opinion, I think like literally
Oh, 100%.
there's just no like I that's why I love the bricks being used like for like building and being able to get bricks more easier and having them have more health than metal to create more of an end game because there is no end game in Unturned. I think it's insane that like on PEI in Washington and also like Russia, the consensus from the player base for all those maps is press the W key until you get to the military base. That is legitimately the progression, and that's what everybody was consistently thinking in their minds when it comes to every other map. And that's like I know you're laughing, but like yeah, that's like what we all agree, right? Like
No,
let's go to the
yeah, no,
military
this
base.
is it's the truth. It's the truth. Like this is what I do every single time I join a server. That's the first thing I do. Run to the next military base.
Exactly. So it's like
That's the easiest way, the best way. Just when you're just out for guns or for good loot, yeah, that's where you go. However, I think if it's a full server and you kind of expect people to already be there, then it does make sense to like visit nearby locations first to maybe get like a Schofield or something, or like any gun, Cobra, whatever, because you will probably find someone in the military base already that has a gun,
yeah,
because it's not hard to get a gun in the military base.
because they follow the same rule of go to the military base for the best loot.
Yeah, yeah, it's. I mean, there is no there's now with the workstations. I guess there is some sort of progression, but even then, like it's so little that like it barely makes a difference.
Yeah, and
It,
I think there needs to be something added. Honestly, I
it's
was
a big
like,
issue.
let's. I think this is like the more the idea of like I guess it's like the idea of like future updates, right? Personally, I think there should have been a workstation that you should have been able to make like high caliber ammunition. Honestly, there should have been a workstation that allowed you to make that stuff, but it's like somewhat expensive. So you can mass produce high caliber ammunition, but it's at a such a like heavy cost. But you can do it, right? So you can get like Dragon Fang ammunition or just like regular Grizzly ammunition and stuff like that, right? You should have been able to. That would have been a great use of the workbench, right? And also like not really take
Hmm.
away from too much. And again, make it expensive so it's painful. There should have been a new ore.
Yeah.
Honestly, there should be a new ore in the game that's super like hard to get because mining is not really done by anybody. Because again, if you go mining, except for on Russia in the actual like mining area where you're supposed to mine, nobody does mining on any of the maps. There should be an actual better ore either for building or for some other type of like I mean maybe like a different ammunition type that should be added to the game to incentivize more late game playing. So either make it that's like two of the ideas I had in my head, like immediately what you could do with the existing stuff to make a better, better end game. Because I know Nelson said, I think on the podcast that he didn't like that brick was the more stronger kind of buildable than metal, but he wanted metal to take back the place of brick at some point in the future. But I just don't see that happening because it just wouldn't make sense to make metal outdo brick because the game has no progression anyway, and keeping any bit of progression right now is important. So
Yeah,
adding
yeah, yeah.
so adding another ore that's difficult to get, more difficult than 10 military knives to make a wood metal wall. You know, I still think that's funny to think about, like conceptually.
or or 10 smokes.
10 smokes to make a metal wall, yeah. Make like an actual purpose to mining on the on PEI Washington and even technically Russia too, I guess. But Russia, I mean, there is a purpose to mining. I mine there all the time whenever I play like an actual wipe. Make a purpose of mining for actual like for the general player base that plays the whole spool of maps. To incentivize mining because there is no incentive. This also goes to farming. I think farming needs a whole overhaul Like I think there needs to be an actual reason
Yeah,
to
yeah,
farm.
yeah.
Like there's no purpose to farming.
Mm.
And same with fishing. Like farming needs to get. I remember suggesting this to Molt. I believe that there should be a new like a bio source, like a biofuel source. Honestly, just make ethanol, and then make a late game ethanol flamethrower that relies on biofuel from food items from farming. So you can get a flamethrower similar to the one on France, right? But not exactly because they'll have their whole system. Not lag you
Mm.
immediately, right? We'll have like a flamethrower similar to the one on France, but it's fueled by ethanol made by farms and large amounts of crops to make farming have an actual incentive. And again, add another layer of progression. Um, make
Yeah.
fishing interesting. Either make it like have
Oh
a
yeah.
chance of like getting rare items from it, similar to how Minecraft does fishing or Rust does fishing. So these are aspects of the game that haven't been fully materialized into actually being useful that could easily be changed to make them actually more useful and be able to be used for more progression in the game because the game desperately needs more progression. Um, how do you feel about this? I've been talking a lot.
No, no, no. Progression, yeah, there is barely any progression. It feels if you join a vanilla server, at least for me personally, the only goal is to really like kill as many people as possible and raid their bases. I mean, there is no like mm, there's not much else you can do. I mean, as soon as you find a rifle, like a Harburg, let's say, on Washington, like what else do you need in terms of guns? Like you go to the military base once, you have a helmet, which is um, the best headgear in the game. Like let's not like okay, Spec Ops might be better.
The spec of someone's the
Can it
same.
get but yeah, but that's the thing. It's almost the same. Exactly. It's not worth like the only reason people really wear Spec Ops things for is because it looks cooler, if anything.
the drip.
But there isn't any noticeable difference between those two. It's so marginable that like it doesn't really matter. Um, you go to military base, you have the best headgear, you have military top, military bottom, you have the vest, you don't find the backpack. Okay, you have to go to Seattle quickly in the clothes store where you find 10 of them, and then that's it. You're maxed out. You're juiced out. Like there's nothing else that you really need in terms of PvP. I mean, yeah, you can like then look for detonator to raid other bases and stuff. And this is really the only thing that you can grind for and farm for is really uh, RNG finding a detonator or a dragon fang or something.
Yeah.
But
The-
that's just to like then raid other people's bases. But there's nothing that you really have to farm for yourself, for your own base, for your own progression.
yeah.
Or am I? Or is there anything? There is nothing, right?
There's really nothing. I mean, besides like metal, I guess, to make your own base. But like, yeah, there's not really anything like, oh, let me get like this new type of like, let me get this new, I don't know, let's just say new magazine, right? Let me make this new magazine that does, I don't know, stabilization, like a negative 10% on recoil. So I get better recoil control on my gun with this different type of magazine. Like, there's nothing that exists like that. There's nothing that exists that like, let me go ahead and make a crazy like a juggernaut set that makes me slower, right? Right. People might hate me for that, but
Mm.
I think there should be incentives to make like better clothes, like in the game, because technically what you just described to me, personally, in my opinion, should be a mid game like situation. That should not be the late game. That should not be the late
Yeah,
game in any
exactly.
in any
It's
any scenario.
it's it is the early game. On most of the times, you have your max gear within 10 minutes of joining the server for the first time.
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Yeah, and I think personally, this problem is like, I think this has been a problem for Unturned for a long time. But the biggest like kind of thing that kind of made people not realize that this was an issue is mainly the skill system. Honestly, the skill system needs to be like overhauled so dramatically. It's so, I think in my opinion, it's just kind of terrible. Um, but like I think the skill system really did disservice to how the game is actually played because of how tedious it was in the like back in the past, where if you died you lose half of everything. Um, like some servers still have it set up where you still lose half of everything. But on default it's not anymore, thankfully. So people are
Yeah.
realizing like how kind of shallow the progression is in the game. And I think now I'm kind of glad that people are seeing that now and like we want more. Um, yeah, I think there needs to be more stuff to do in this game because it's kind of crazy how long we've been playing. Uh, and this is kind of like, yeah, if you play for like 10 to 20 minutes, you get the best stuff in this game. Like if you tell any
Yeah.
normal person that plays video games, they'd be like, why would you have thousands of hours in this game if that's how easy it is, right? Like that's insane, right? To have that kind of conversation with somebody. But that's how it is, and I think that needs to change. That really just need to change.
Yeah, I mean, there is, before anyone like comments, yeah, there is of course better items that are a bit more rare, but my point is that the items which are more rare are barely any better. Like they're just, maybe there is a few exceptions, like when you find a Matamoros, that thing is really good. But then again, if like, I don't know, I feel like there should be much better items, but they're also much more rare. Like items, when you find them and wear them, you actually feel like, okay, I will be much stronger than the guy who just wears a military set.
Yeah, or all
And
my
maybe
work
not
was
everyone
rewarded.
will agree with this. Like with on Elva, for example, there was this like fat suit. What was it?
I don't remember honestly.
This fat vest. Like you tanked so many more shots because of it. But like, yeah, but it was rare. You had high stakes. If you lost it and if you died, yeah, it would be gone. Then the other person would have it. But I feel like stuff like this is missing. With the Spec Ops, it's so like, it's so not worth like grinding for. If anything, then you just, no one is actually actively looking for Spec Ops stuff, even though it's technically the best clothing in the game. Some of it.
Yeah, you're right. And
Like, why is that?
the only people who are really looking for it are like people who are bored or like yeah, just people who are bored and are like, let's just get the best clothing because I guess we can, right? Or just because it looks cool. Because yeah,
Yeah.
again, it's more like aesthetics and actually being useful. Um, but yeah, there needs to be more progression. Just something, you know. If you want suggestions, better suggestions, Nelson, hit my line. But yeah, like there's just to be
Right.
more, and there's systems in place right now in the game that could easily be expanded that would make progression way more fun and way more better. If you just add just a little bit of it, and I think hopefully, because I think in UL recently, uh, Unturned seems to be coming up on a bigger update some soon. I swear, if like something we said here becomes true in the next update, that'd be funny. But
I mean, okay, so the few things that are pretty much confirmed, I mean, it was teased in a previous thing, was that there's going to be like brick roofs and brick foundations, right?
yeah, I
You
think
could
so.
see them in like the screenshot and a teaser. Then I did mention something about, so if you didn't know, there is the best melee in vanilla is the pike. It is not, it's a mythical rarity.
The
It's
pike.
not obtainable through any legitimate gameplay. It's just like you can spawn it in. And I mentioned this in the Unturned Discord a few days ago, like that. I feel like because pike is also a fish species, I feel like at a very like a 0.1% chance of catching this melee by fishing. The best melee in the game, very rare. People can just like grind hours of fishing for it just to find this rare stuff. Wouldn't hurt anyone. And then Mold said like he replied like don't tease the update or something like that
Yeah,
in the public chat. Like he like I think this is one of the things that will be added, and
that'd be sick.
probably the fishing loot in general will be overhauled. And I think
Hopefully, bro. Hopefully, we'll get something good. If the pike is in the fishing table, similar to like the squid and the upgraded fishing rod, I will be so happy because then I will use a pike for like I don't know a fake arena or something, and we'll have like a whole arena where we fight with pikes because it has such long range too. It's like a javelin, like it's crazy.
yeah, it's much stronger than the military knife. Much stronger.
Yeah, way stronger than katana, way stronger than any other melee. So I would love to see that like actually in the game again. Hopefully next update it actually blows out of the water and some of this stuff comes true. Future.
I when it comes to suggestions, I don't know for how many years I've sat there and tried to like through like everything to Nelson directly and the Unturned Discord, through forums, through my videos, through community posts, everywhere. I've tried to like suggest so many things, and I feel like most of them don't go anywhere, even though like seemingly many people agreed with like what I said. And it got to a point now where like all my suggestions are based on just like changing the config that already exists in the game. Like I don't, I'm not even suggesting new things. I'm just suggesting to like change text files or config files, which take like 10 minutes. This is the standard that we got to here for
Yeah,
me personally. That's
yeah.
why I also said with the unlock door earlier, it's just one file that you have to rename. It takes 5 seconds.
No, I completely agree. Like I made a whole list of suggestions to Nelson of what to change, and I put them in a video because of just how ridiculous some of the stuff was. Which is like on default, why are we having 5 characters on a vanilla server? Like you basically have a like ender chest, right? But like the size of
Mm.
4 players' inventories that you have, like that's insane. That's on default, and a couple other changes like the skill loss stuff. But yeah, like again, I think a lot of us have like settled for please get config changes. Please add config changes. But hopefully, I mean, hopefully they're going in the right direction with stuff. There's still a lot of stuff that needs to be
But
done. Yeah, but like
for
yeah,
sure, for sure. But like to round this up with, I also want to say that like on the positive side, there have been like for example like the stacking thing, the works. There have been updates now and then, which were good. You also have to. I also have to be fair and say that like the stacking, yes, it took 9 years to be added, but it's finally there. We can now finally stack items. Uh, or like the workstation. I personally think it's a good idea. There have been some vehicle, like the vehicle physics were changed. How many, like 2 years ago, a year ago, something like this.
yeah,
Also, something that people have asked for ages, but at least it's done now. So that's good. It is a positive after all.
yeah. I completely agree. Like at least we're getting updates. Yeah, I remember like there's some.
But
Actually, I have an old friend, who tells me like I feel like a lot of these updates should have happened a long time ago, but at least they're here, you know. Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but yeah, I hope that they keep making stuff even though it's really slow. I don't know. This kind of like goes into the idea of like is it like viable now for like to still keep the game at this kind of update rate? I don't know. Like I really don't know. I mean it's good that we're getting like seemingly we're getting contract work for the game instead of inherently relying on Nelson to make everything. That's at least an upside, and it seems like Molt is actually doing stuff as well in the game than just being the community manager, which is a good thing. We should all be very happy about that. um I just wonder if this is like if this is sustainable, like realistically, like if we can keep going this slow. I think we realistically do need um not only better like playtesting of these kind of like changes and like better like I guess better like communication back of like stuff. I feel like I could have said some things that would have made the workstation stuff better. But I mean they're in a like okay state right now. Um, or like anybody could have probably asked like, hey, why is the metal door behind the workbench? You know, when it's kind of difficult to even lock your base if you're not just sealing the base in with like walls. So
Mm.
I feel like people could have been like, yeah, this, but then again, people don't really play survival anymore, sadly. But I don't know.
Yeah, Vanilla's dead.
Yeah, yeah, and it's been dead for like a long time. It's just fun to
Yeah.
go back to it and play it. Like it's fun to do that, but it's not like someone that people don't seek out vanilla anymore. I don't feel like they would rather play the more polished gameplay of like either career maps or other modded projects. Um, but yeah, there needs to be, I think, a step up of updates and to keep back Unturned because I remember like a lot of the community was saying like, oh, like Unturned needs like better advertisement. Unturned needs like a large like whatever, right, to get people back into the game. But I looked at the stats of Unturned, and Unturned has about like this is like I forgot what exactly this is, but this is like a using Steam API. 36 million people have downloaded Unturned. I think it's like the fourth or sixth largest game on Steam. You compare it to games like you're literally comparing Unturned in downloads to like CS:GO, Team Fortress 2. You know, you're comparing Unturned in downloads to those games, and you think about the retention that they have gotten, especially Team Fortress 2, where it's like the people have been begging for updates for a long time for their games. You know, And I think
Mm,
a big problem for Unturned is not advertisement. It's literally development of the actual game. There is we've been getting breadcrumbs for years. And I think we
yeah.
do need to, for the longevity of the game and for the game to get back into any healthy state. Like it hasn't been in a healthy state for quite some time. We need to get back like some semblance of updates having consistently. I'm not saying let's bring back Friday updates. We could even go back to like monthly. Like if you do a monthly update, I think that'd be fine. It's just something needs to be given to people to play the game again, and there really hasn't been. And I don't like the workbenches are a good step direction, but it's like a half measure, right? Because it's like all the stuff that the workbenches kind of add, kind of either limit what you are already able to do, or kind of like make artificial progression by putting it behind a workbench instead of giving you more stuff to play with in the workbench, you know? So it's like we're getting half updates that are good, right? But there needs to be another step forward to make them really good updates and to continue the progression of the game to make it feel more lively. Because again, I do feel like I'm still playing Unturned, just with a little bit more like added, I guess, vanilla plus. You know what I mean? Like you know, how, like
Yeah, yeah.
old servers
With
had
the
vanilla
mod
plus.
installed.
Yeah, with a more modern code, and it's just like there needs to be more. There needs to be just a little bit more. Take that little step. I don't know what it's gonna take. Either another person from the modding scene like Dog Food or whoever to come in and add more stuff. But I feel like there needs to be. People don't like me saying this because they don't think it's like feasible, but there really should be more developers on the game. Smart Just Games should get more developers and feel like there should be like actually people
Yeah,
doing it. There should be.
they should, but they're not going to because it will never. It's. You said it right, though. You said it right. I mean, to be fair, Mold has been like Mold is working on the update that's coming out now. The vanilla update. Mold is working on it, and Dog Food, as far as I'm aware. Um, Dog Food has done the workstation thing, and like Dog Food has a bunch of really cool mods, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he made more farming. Like,
He,
that's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, yeah, exactly. That's one of the mods almost like every Unturned player will have heard of. More farming. So I think I am very when I heard that dog food is the one like working on these things, I was like very optimistic.
Oh yeah, I think everybody was. I remember Liam was like so happy. He was like, "Oh my god, they got like a goat to work on this stuff."
One thing that I did want to mention, you talked about advertising, right? And you said the game doesn't need advertising, but it needs more development. That's what you said, right?
Yeah, I 100% believe that.
That both those things are in like direct correlation though, because here's the thing. You also said 36 million people have downloaded Unturned, right?
Yeah,
The way Steam works, if you have downloaded the game before, and it doesn't matter if if you still have it installed or not, you just have it on your account. Whenever there's an update on the game, it will show up on top of your library. Like there is some games like PUBG, like every second post here is from PUBG for some reason. Like they're just spamming the things like, and I feel like this is free advertisement. There's one of the things that I suggested Nelson because he always, as a thumbnail of those updates, he always put the generic unturned thing, and then with the update number.
yeah,
I told him like I feel like it's better if you just put a picture of what it is, and I think he did it for the workstation where there was like a picture of the workstation. It looked pretty nice.
yeah,
And the more updates there are in Unturned, the more uh, the game is just being advertised again for people that have played it before. So if they see, and I think like a lot of people just look at them now and then at the library. If you've never really noticed, just like go to new Steam, click library, and then on the top it says what's new. I think it's free promotion right there. And if something cool is added and people see it, then I feel like some might try it out again.
yeah.
Some come back.
No, I completely agree. I mean, like, you remember the Russia update, where Nelson and even the gun update after that, right? Where Nelson had this like render of his character with all the guns from Russia that were going to be out of the Russia, in that table, and that was the update list. That was
Yeah.
so hype. Why don't we have
Yeah,
that
yeah,
again?
that was crazy.
That was like a big thing, and then that was like, look at
Yeah.
this update. This is what this update is. right? We need that back. I do agree. We need that back, and that will be good advertisement. I also thought like of like just like honestly, you could just give advertise like, hey, does anyone want to make a trailer for like an update, and like give it to the community, and whoever makes the actual good trailer just upload it to the SEG like YouTube channel. You could just do that and have the community make it. You don't have to waste $1 on that. Like you could just ask, and then someone probably could do it just for the sake of being on the SEG YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Something that doesn't cost money. It's just simple communication and simple presentation that could make this game way more hype whenever an update drops. I think it definitely needs to happen.
Yeah, or add like an exclusive cosmetic, like a trailer shirt or something. Like
Don't start
so
this.
many people would try to get one.
Gonna make me crash out, bro. I need all the rare cosmetics, bro. I'm on my way. I got the Battle Light Halo recently. I need to get the last Barettes,
Nice.
and then the Twitch shirt, and I think I'll be done. Besides the Nelson and
You got
all
the
cosmetics.
crimson one,
No, I need them both because they both are for the veteran DLC.
but you can't get them anymore, can you?
You can.
Wait, how?
You have to find someone with the keys to the actual DLCs, because the keys still work.
Wait, how would you find someone with
You
the
gotta
key?
find
Are you
them.
going
You
through like
gotta
old
find them.
videos and stuff?
You gotta find the people with the keys, bro.
Bro, it's like treasure hunting.
Yeah,
Looking for
literally.
the people with the keys.
The One Piece, bro. This is
Scrolling through like 10-year-old forum posts of people trying to contact them. That's kind of creepy, no?
nah. I don't do that. I'm just like on the search, bro. I'm on the search. This is the One
I
Piece
didn't
for
know
me.
that. I
Yeah,
didn't know it. You could still get it.
yeah, you can. Anybody out there that has like an old family member that like played Unturned and had their email signed up on the website, you would have been given not just one, you would have been given 4 keys. Nelson apparently gave out, I think, 4 keys. I asked him how many keys he gave
4.
out, but he gave 4 keys per person who had their emails attached to the website. He said 4, but like I don't know if he was telling the truth or I'm misremembering. But he said there was 4 keys per like email that was attached to the website, so that you can give to your friends to play Unturned with. Which, what a smart fucking strategy, Nelson. Good idea. You gave DLC keys to the people to play their free game when it comes out on Steam. You get more people to play. You did a great job. You did a great job. I don't know why we're not doing this anymore, Nelson. Come on.
To those that don't know what the Crimson Beret is, it is a cosmetic which you got if you played Unturned before it was on Steam. It was on a website, right?
Yeah, it was on the website. And
Yeah, you
also
played it on a website
you get
and
the
signed
gold
up with
beret.
the email.
You get the gold beret as well because there was no way to discern if you had gold or just played regularly. So you get the crimson and gold beret from the same DLC. So if you find a key or like have somebody that has a key, right? You will get both of those items, and those are impossible to get. There's a set amount of keys that exist in the world. Somebody has those keys, and if you have extra keys, hit my line. I need that. I'll pay a pretty price, bro. You know how much money I'll shell out for that.
I pay what Charles pays plus 10.
Dude, no, we're not doing this right now, bro. Bidding war on keys, bro. Key bidding war.
No, I don't need it. But yeah, no, it is a cool item.
Yeah.
And yeah, with the advertisement, there's a lot of people that have it, and if updates were to become out more regular again, and even if it's not, maybe if it's like a bigger update once a month, and then every week there's like small adjustments to things, maybe small adjustments to the update that just came out, or balancing changes, just like something happening with the game. Because I swear, every update, when there is an update, is just new mod hooks added and new editor this and that, and it's just, unless you're a modder, like 99.9% of the player base like can't do anything with those.
Yeah, and I agree.
They're just, yeah.
Yeah, I find it kind of funny because like you're right. The modding community has eaten like everything, bro. They're so gluttonous in the updates because that's all that is.
Bro, there. I mean, to be fair, there's very good modders, man.
Yeah.
There is, the modding scene is still so big, for some reason. I mean, Unturned is not that like it is. Unturned is definitely dying. Okay, it's on a very good way to being dead soon if something doesn't change. But I mean, there's still there's still thousands of players playing the game at a time, and but that many modders that bring out that many mods, still for that player, I think it's pretty good. If you
Yeah,
look at the Discord and the showcase room channel, it's like you see like new mods, like a few every day.
yeah, the modding scene is really still alive. And honestly, like when you think about like games in general, there's not many games you can point to and be like they have a thriving modding scene because either their games don't allow for modding or they're like really old, you know? So yeah, Unturned having the modding like capabilities it has, praise Valve, praise Steam for their workshop, but like yeah, literally like Unturned without the workshop would be such in a worse state. Like we probably wouldn't be here. Honestly, we probably wouldn't be here.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the thing with the workshop. Like nowadays, Unturned is not what Unturned was when it came out. Unturned is not this survival game that like it's just like pure survival game. It's just like it's I like to compare it to like a Garry's Mod almost, where you join servers which are completely different. They're like custom game modes. They're like there's role play. There's your Rust stuff. There's your Stalker, whatever. There's some like deathmatch service and all that. Very different. And I feel like if those wouldn't exist, then Unturned would be worse off. That's true. But I also feel like that, to me personally, I don't know. Maybe I'm not the majority. I don't know. Like this is not the Unturned that I like to see.
Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I've I've worked on modded projects before, and those were fun and everything. But I always was. At the end of the day, I'm still an Unturned player who just enjoyed vanilla to play vanilla. Almost all my videos are Unturned vanilla. Like that's what I used to fall in love with, and that's what I still like to play. And it's like it's a bit sad that this is just really, really dead nowadays. Vanilla is dead
yeah, I
for
completely
sure.
agree. I agree as well. Like without modding, like the game would be worse off. But ultimately, we are Unturned players, and we would love to see Unturned be more better off than it is currently right now. Because modding is great, I agree, but we all fell in love with Unturned and what it was meant, like actually was playing back in the day. We at least me and P9. So I mean, we would love to see
Hmm.
it just be revived. You know, at least be more playable and more fun than it currently is. Because that's the thing, right? I like to think Unturned like when it comes to like the two faces, right? Like the vanilla gameplay, the base game of Unturned being a survival game is like the foundation of this house, right? And then like the foundation, let's just say foundation, and then there everything above the foundation is literally the entire modding scene, and it's like a skyscraper they've built on top of this foundation. But this foundation has been like very bad and been very like not in a suitable condition, in my opinion, to sustain everything else. Because ultimately, if development for Unturned were to stop just one day, everything else would decay away or be forgotten. You know, because the game isn't being changed in any way. I mean, people would like still play the game occasionally, but it wouldn't be in the same. It wouldn't be in the same manner as it is right now. Um,
Yeah, but do you also think that this would be the case if Unturned was to be open source? That is a great transition. You got to give me that one.
yeah. Let's talk about Unturned open source. I don't know. I am literally like, I'm so curious as to what's gonna happen because I think there's no good case studies except for like Team Fortress 2. I think because that's a comparable like amount of players. Of course, we don't have the sustained like the standing power as like Valve's hit title like Team Fortress 2. But I think about when they made their game open source and the things that kind of came out of it. I'm not discrediting everyone's work. Like they got their a bunch of people to fix a lot of bugs that got implemented into the game. Fixes. There's like spin-off projects for Team Fortress 2 that came out of the open sourceness. But I'm gonna be honest, to me as a viewer and kind of a person that to see stuff from the outside here, it was kind of lackluster. Um like lackluster of something that seemed like it was supposed to be greater than. And it kind of concerns me because Team Fortress 2 is such a beloved property and has such a beloved community. Not to say that Unturned doesn't. Um, but it makes me worried as to what we're gonna get when it comes to its open sourceness. I think
No, what, maybe you want to explain quickly what open source even means if someone doesn't know.
the open source of Unturned is basically the internals of the game, and how I believe everything. There might be some things that are still kept secret. I'm not entirely sure how open source is open source, right? But I believe the internals of the game, everything about this game, will be available to the public, so that anybody that wants to mod or like make a spinoff or anything is allowed to or can with um what's been given out to everybody. So basically, everything is on the table, and everybody can change anything, because they can just see the internals of the entire game. Now, however, like
Yeah.
again, the new EULA for Unturned has allowed people to be able to make spin-offs and do that. I believe. There's some things I will talk about the EULA later, but yeah, like that's kind of the general gist, at least for me. Like I understand it. Um, but yeah, do
So
I?
basically, basically, people can make their own Unturned, like not just with what it is possible now. Like now, you can add plugins and mods to a server, but you can make like a separate game, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you can just make your entirely different game, if you really want to, based off of Unturned. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, again, it's just like development, right? I don't know. It's kind of like we're in this weird place where I'm just like, I'm not entirely sure what's gonna come out of it. It's completely such a new beast,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. To be honest, like when I first heard about it, I was like, what does that even mean? Like what is this? So when I looked into this and when I asked a few people and stuff, I still can't imagine like what is this gonna look like in practice.
Yeah,
Like will we be seeing like like what is it? Like will we be seeing like an Unturned which has completely new player models, new graphics? Is this possible? Or will we be
yeah,
seeing like maybe something that I don't know isn't even survival? It's like fully, don't know, World War II role play, for example.
yeah. I think we're gonna
Like
be
a
seeing
like
like crazy projects that are complete like derivative of Unturned, but not Unturned. Like I think of like Roblox. I think that's kind of the direction that Nelson kind of had for Unturned. And I think that's a direction that the open sourceness would take. That's what I imagine, at least. But again, I think my idea is like, is there enough people to really see a project fully there, in Unturned, and like, is there? I don't know. There's no real incentive besides the love of the game, right? But like, I guess that's the
yeah,
biggest question, right?
I don't. The thing is, the thing that concerns me. I mean, this open source thing. When was it announced that he's looking? I think he announced it, and he said he needs to look into this with lawyers and stuff just to make sure he's like he got everything covered. But that's been how long now?
I
That's been a
think
while.
actually the first mention of open sourcing the game, I believe, was either a forum post or the podcast interview with Spammel and Brad, where I think he discussed that open sourceness on that show, and that was like what 2020, 2022. I could be wrong. I know it's like a 2 year difference, but I literally don't remember the time. Like that, but it was many
Mm-hmm.
years ago where he discussed making the game open source, and now I think we're crescendoing to actually seeing it relatively soon. And the reason for that is because Nelson has talked about it, and also we have a completely new EULA for Unturned, that basically seems to outline the future of what you could do with an open source Unturned in the future. So we're seeing the setup for it, but we haven't seen the release of it yet. I don't know. I know, back to like the Team Fortress 2 thing. I know Team Fortress 2 is made in Source, and Unturned is made in Unity. And Unity and what was it? I forgot the other engine that's like massive. Unreal. Unreal and Unity are the two like monopolies when it comes to game engines for game creation. So maybe we'll see a lot more projects in Unturned than I believe would be for Team Fortress 2. Even though Team Fortress 2, in my opinion, is probably more beloved than Unturned. But um,
I don't. I've never seen it in a game. I mean, I don't. Still, I'm sitting here and like I'm just. I don't know. Like, it's the like the thing that made me want to play Unturned and that like is and I really got into Unturned is just the. It sounds weird, but it is Unturned. It's just the way everything was. I feel like back in the days, Nelson, whatever he added, everything fit together perfectly. like the vehicles and the tanks, for example, the helicopters and an airdrop. I mean, every update back in the day, I feel like was a hit. But like if someone was to bring out a new, I don't know. I still can't imagine
We
personally. I don't know.
probably again also this is kind of worrisome because I mean the direction of Unturned. I mean we kind of keep this under wraps, right? Like the little secret of Unturned is that people just make other games instead of Unturned. So a big
Mm,
concern. This is like the concern. Let's talk about the concerns of open sourcing the game. Could we see a potential like complete rip of like Rust turned being more like actually Rust but like unturned like? Can we see that, like, or like Tarkov but unturnified, right? Like, are we gonna see projects like that being made priority by people, and then the people who are already had those projects gonna fund those offshoot games? That's somewhat concerning because then this open sourceness has basically made pseudo versions of games that already exist. And then what? How are those people gonna make back their money or profit this? Because let's be real, a lot of people who make projects in general think about the profit. And since open sourcing inherently doesn't have a profit direction, we could see big problems later down the line. I'm not saying that like Face Punch is gonna come out of here and be like, I'm gonna sue you to the end of time because you made a clone of our game essentially, using Unturned's open sourceness. But that's a real concern. But I'm not sure if it's like, and maybe it's discussed in the EULA, but it is a concern from the outside sources of being like, well, the cat's already out of the bag because everybody has the open source code of the game. They can make anything, including copyright infringement things. And then who's gonna come in and
yep.
stop these people? I don't know. I think
Yeah.
Nelson has their hands clean with the EULA, but again, this is not a good look for us as
What?
like a player base, right? Being like, these are the people that basically copy games. That's not good look for us.
No, but like, who would be responsible for this? Not Nelson, right?
No, I don't think that would ever go to Nelson. But those people would give Unturned a bad rap because it's based off of Unturned's code essentially.
Uh, I don't know. Will people really care about this?
Maybe it's just a
I'm not
concern.
sure. But it is. I mean, it's if Unturned was to come out open source, I think it's pretty safe to say that there will be people trying like to bring stuff that is very successful in Unturned right now, like for example Rust Turned and Unturned Off, into their own game. No, sorry, I didn't mean to say anything here. Um, but yeah, as long as it's, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel
That's
like,
just a
but the
concern.
one thing with Unturned though is that like currently those projects are, you have a platform which is Unturned, which is directly advertising your projects, right? Because of the server browser, you can find it really easy there if it has some players. And is it going to be? It's definitely going to be harder to get people to play on like a new platform.
Yeah,
Like you don't have like you would have to go like for example, I don't know, you'd have to go advertise elsewhere, but you can't just have a server and have like basically free advertisement, if that makes sense.
yeah. This is true, but I think about I'm not sure if this is possible, but you think of like the mod engines for like Lethal Company or like stuff like that. I'm not sure if that's like a direction that people will go. I know JDance has discussed that, of doing like similar things like to how they mod their games. But maybe something like that would make it easier. I don't know. We still haven't really seen what potentially could happen. I'm just spitballing ideas because again, ultimately nothing could happen.
Yeah.
Nothing could happen from the open sourceness, and we could be here like being like, okay, what was the point? But I mean,
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time that Nelson announced something and then nothing happened.
let's not
But
let's
like
not
to be honest with you, to be completely honest with you, I feel like I just can't say much that is of value to open source because like I don't know, I'm just not into that. You know,
yeah.
I don't know what it will come with. I don't know how it would look like. I guess we'll see when it happens. I suppose.
Besides that, I am concerned about something that will affect the game because the code's now available to anybody. Is the more nefarious actors. We already have a large problem with a lot of nefarious people making either cheats or bots for either their servers or to just disrupt general playing. Um, is who's to say that this is not going to ramp up? Now, I do understand that the EULA has legal implications for people doing this, but my concern for the future of Unturned, when this does happen, when open sourceness does, is who is SEG really gonna enforce this EULA? I really hope they do. I really hope they make an example of somebody or someone, you know, or some like entity, right, that's making stuff, and like actually go the full way and actually sue them for like hurting their game, because this is a real, credible problem to us who are going to be continuing to play vanilla Unturned. And my concern is that they have this legal language in the actual EULA. They have this whole outline, but will it be enforced? I want to see if anybody is listening. I think we all agree is that if somebody is disrupting the gameplay of this game, right, and there was an actual path forward to do so, and you had everything to go, I would hope they actually go through with it and actually make an example of somebody. And this is to say, yeah, these guys should be taken to court, or whatever metric that needs to be done to stop them if they do. And I hope they actually fully have plans for that in the future, because again, it is a concern that currently, and even the current state, it's not really good when it comes to dealing and combating these nefarious actors. They're still prevalent and they still exist. I mean, inherently, I think a lot of them, we know who they are, and they still, I still don't understand why they're not been banned from the game, but whatever, But there needs to be an example made of these people, and needs to be something done when we do get to that point, and they have to have this on their mind. They have to be thinking about this when they do make the game open source, because ultimately this could be a really bad problem for all of us. And then what? If nobody's able to enjoy the multiplayer gameplay, then we're going to be stuck in single player. And we already talked about the problems about Unturned.
But can it get much worse than it is already?
I mean, think about Team Fortress 2. It was impossible to play any Valve server because of how bad the botting problem was in there. I think that was very, very like scary to think about. Like, Valve is not really throwing the hammer down and dealing with this problem in an accurate way. They're kind of letting the game rot. Like, what's to say, like, in the future, this would have happened to our game? Then what, And it's just Nelson there. Nelson fighting who? Like 20 people with, like, large bot networks? I mean, I think about the past, like other people, I'm not going to mention who did take advantage of, Nelson being one man and doing devastating damage to this game. And this has happened for multiple times over the course of the many years that Unturned existed. And again, when you make the game open source, now you've given them a lot more to play with. And it's a real concern.
Yeah, but just to like, so I don't play TF2. So why is it botted? What do the bots do? Do they farm like drops?
No, I mean, there used to be random drops they used to do, yeah, and that was removed. But the only purpose of the bots, when the bot problem became really massive, was they would just cheat and insta kill everybody. That's legit what they did, because they would just play the sniper class and would kill everybody on the map. That's all they did. And then they would they would turn on their microphones and then like spam noises or say crazy things. Again, I think about Unturned, And
Wait, like bots or hackers?
yeah,
then?
These were bots. These were large bot networks across the entire Valve like server listing, basically, for Team Fortress 2. Again, I imagine this for like a case scenario for Unturned. Just imagine that, That's problematic. I don't know. I hope that doesn't happen in Unturned, but it should be something on SCG's mind.
I don't think this is just due to open source. I mean, if you take Counter-Strike, for example, whenever you join a deathmatch server in Counter-Strike, you will be playing against 80% bots. They just like farm drops as well, essentially. There's like this armory pass, which you can buy, and then you can farm drops. And Counter-Strike is full of bots. They're even so advanced that like the bots, when you leave the team to start spectating them, some of them will just do nothing or even leave the game by themselves. And they will not like rage, like spinbot and stuff. They will try to look legit, quote unquote. I mean, I don't think this is just because I think this is more of a Valve problem, if anything. I feel like every game is spotted.
Yeah,
Don't know why. I mean, in Counter Strike, I know why, because it's like they farm stuff. Um, Unturned already has a big problem with cheaters. I mean, I've mentioned this so many times. I get it. You can't prevent people from cheating at all. I get that. But like, add ways so people can't kill you through your own base or loot storages through walls. I mean, I still don't understand how that's a thing. If I get killed, okay, it is what cheaters are in every game, but like a cheater can join a server and loot every single base. They can just go around and loot every base without entering the base.
yeah, yeah.
Why? Why is that a thing?
I think some of that is
How is
patched,
there nothing
but
to prevent this?
I actually recently saw a fly cheater. There's a bunch of fly cheaters that use vehicles to break into bases or like just kill you because they could use to fly with vehicles stealth.
Yeah.
And that's still a problem. Like I saw a guy, um, bless his heart. Every day he would go on his server and he had wood crates and he would record. He would record this. He would record a guy walking into his like driving into his base with a bicycle, kill him, steal his stuff in his crates, and then fly away in the bicycle. Like this is not all right. This is not okay, like at all. But that's what happened, and I'm like, oh my god. And it's just like it's so unserious. It's such a problem, and then just like yeah, it's bad. It's bad right now. I'm just imagining like a worse scenario, and maybe it could be worse now that there's more things for developers to see like, oh, this is how Unturned works more. Let's see how we can again exploit it more, right? That's kind of my thought process at least.
Yeah. It's but yeah, yeah. But open source also means on the other side that like people that are working on anti-cheat plugins, like they have
Oh yeah,
better insights now, I'm guessing, or more possibilities to prevent that, I guess.
yeah. They have. I hopefully they would have more tools. Yeah, it's a cat and mouse game that we're consistently
Yeah,
playing.
always.
Yeah, always.
Always.
Well, speaking of like, I guess open sourceness and like generally like the future of Unturned. I also think about like also what was I gonna say? The future of Unturned. I know people talk about this about like what does Unturned need, right? Like I think people like generally whenever they talk about these topics, that's kind of like in the middle here. It's like what does Unturned need? And we kind of talked about that a little bit before, but I kind of want to talk about the like something that's coming up. There's seems to be a new curated map that's coming out. There was a trailer that was posted on I believe SCG's YouTube channel. I think it was unlisted though, but it was on the update list. Again, I don't know why we're
Mhm.
unlisting trailers. Come on, guys, you guys can just post it.
No. It's not a trailer chart, it's a teaser.
It's a teaser. It's a teaser. It's a visual teaser, I think, or something. I forgot what it's
It's a
called.
teaser for the trailer, for
Yeah,
then the release. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Do we need if another curated map? No. Am I excited for another curated map? No. Does it still look good? And will I at least join to try it out? Probably. I feel like curated maps. This is going to be the last one before the new curated things.
no, yeah,
What is it? The system?
the new
Like, is this the
system.
last one
Yep.
before the new system?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like with curated maps, man, they used to like when the first few came out, it was really cool and stuff. But like every curated map nowadays, I don't know if people feel the same. That's just my personal opinion. I feel like they're just like it's just oh wow, yet another curated map. Oh wow, this and this. I was never a big curated map player, to be fair though. There's people that like to join them. And to be fair, at least for like a few weeks up to a few months when a new curated map comes out, like there is a few servers on that map which seem to do good. Some maps hold on for longer, some maps shorter. But I feel like I don't know. I feel it's just another curated map. It's just like
Yeah,
and the thing is, if it was the map, just the map, like Nelson isn't really. You would think Nelson isn't really working on the map. Like all these little updates that you see, these little hooks and this and that, they're all to support the new curated map. Like
yeah,
so, Nelson is also putting all this time, or I think he mentioned it himself before, how he's putting a significant amount of time into assisting those or making these maps possible because maybe they need new features working. But like, if you have all of this in the game, why not take advantage of it and also add some of these things into vanilla? Why? Like, I don't know, commission someone, pay them so they can do it. I don't know, like, don't know, like, do it yourself. I don't know, man. Vanilla, we need a new vanilla map. I'm gonna be honest. It's been over
Ooh.
3,000 days since the last vanilla gun was added.
What do you mean?
It's next year. Next year, it's gonna be 10 years with not a single vanilla gun added to the game. A gun for a survival game.
What do you mean, man? The Nightgrave shoots 3 bullets now. That's completely a new gun.
No new gun. There was, and probably the amount of adjustments to already existing guns, you could probably count on 2 hands or so.
Yeah, you're correct. Yeah, I think it's okay. Here's my perspective on the new vanilla map. I think my biggest problem is like it's for Nelson because he's discussed
Curated
this.
map.
The problem is that after Germany, literally everybody else fully like kind of like mapped out what can be done, what works and what doesn't work for a map, right? And it's like been played out so much. And would a vanilla map, an actual vanilla map, bring back players? No, because the created maps kind of acted like pseudo vanilla maps because they exist in the game for everybody to play for a certain amount of time. So people treat them like they were new additions to the game, even though they weren't, right? So will people kind of find a new vanilla map better? No, I don't really think so because people have treated curated maps kind of like that. People mistake curated maps for being vanilla maps and get mad at Nelson for curated maps decisions, which is so silly. But that's something to note of when it comes to thinking about a new vanilla map, you know? Also, Nelson has discussed, like, he feels that it's too daunting for him. He says, like, I think when it comes to every other map project, it's just like, how can he compete against teams of people? How can he compete with people who have been, like, specifically honing in for years for their projects? Like, how? And he just doesn't see the value in going in for it, which makes sense. Personally, that makes sense.
I think, yeah, I get I get his point. The curated maps nowadays are so advanced and like add so many things, and they have to basically always come up with new things. But like, vanilla maps don't have to be that deep. I mean, look at the current vanilla maps. There is undoubtedly there is a good amount of people that will hate if a new vanilla would come out in the vanilla style because it would feel empty and it would just feel like old, like just not up to date.
Archaic.
But like, I'm sure like a lot of people would still enjoy it, no?
I think
And
so.
the
But
one thing, so this is the one thing that I don't like about curated maps. It's not like how the map looks or play, like they're all great. I mean, there's not a single curated map that is like bad. But it's just the fact that every map works so different. You couldn't hop from Arid, you couldn't from Arid to, let's say, Polaris without having to relearn everything.
yeah,
The whole map is just completely new, and it's so. The thing I like about vanilla is I hop from Washington to PI to Russia to Germany, and everything is essentially the same. I know everything. It's just like I just don't like all the. It's maybe that's an unk take. I don't know, but it's all too complicated for me. I just wanna play the game, man. I don't want to have to relearn everything every time. I don't know.
this
Maybe
is
that's
true.
just me.
Actually, you share a same opinion to a couple of people I knew from the past who used to play this game. Yeah, they completely agree with you, and I think a lot of old players who played the game in the past all agree with you. Even like even when like Greece was coming out, like people like Robocast was complaining about Greece. Like I still can't believe if you look back at like there's this one video that I despise. It's called like the problem with Unturned by Robocast. If you watch that video and you listen to his critiques, think about how good he had it back then, bro. Think about how good Robocast had, you know, during that time, the updates and the things he was complaining about. And think about now. It's such like it's so insane to think about. But yeah, I think it is generally like an older player take of like I miss vanilla. I really want vanilla back, and I don't disagree with you. Like that is a general consensus that I've heard from multiple different players that played back in the day that they miss vanilla and how it used to play. And that's why I personally think instead of a new map, just update the existing maps to be better. To be better. Like
Yeah.
just make them be better, please. That's all I want. So I think that's generally like my personal take on the idea. But what if a new vanilla map hurt? Maybe, maybe not. It depends on how like good it is, right? Because if a new vanilla map adds like a whole new thing, right? Like new progression or new ways to like play a game that nothing else has played before. Because you think about like how the current vanilla maps play, except for like Germany. Um, and Germany has a bunch of quests, different quest items. So I guess that's the never mind. Everything they all do different things. They all do different things, and that's kind of like
Mhm.
what we should treat like vanilla maps, so that all these maps have different playstyles and do different things, and there's nothing that's like they're not super alike. They are alike, but they're not like the same map. You know what I mean? Like you're not getting Washington 2.
Mhm.
You're not getting Washington 2 when you look at the vanilla list. And I think
Yeah.
that's a good thing. We should be worried about that when it comes to vanilla map. That's why I was saying, I think just update the existing maps. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if you have anything else to say about that.
No, I agree with you. What I feel like should have happened a long time ago. Take the things that the new curate, like all the curate maps, the things that they have done well. Take those and implement them into vanilla slowly, like just one by one. I mean, for example, the stacking was on curated maps and was taken over to this. The um, vehicle physics that are much better now. Curated maps did that before vanilla, and like just keep you can see it's kind of like you can see what works, what people like about the maps, and then add this into the vanilla loop.
Yeah,
And with the maps, I we don't need a new vanilla map necessarily. First, we just need like new things to do in vanilla or more things to do. And this is not just vanilla. If you're a semi-vanilla player, it's still like the vanilla map. You know, it's still, or if you're a 10x player, it's still the vanilla map, the whole thing that sh- should be should be updated. I don't know. It feels outdated, but maybe that's because we've been at it for so long. I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know if new players would feel that way.
yeah. It's like it's kind of funny because people like get really, really like vehemently upset or like mad, and I think about like I have like 10,000 plus hours in this game, and you have like I think 12,000 plus hours in this game. I'm like, have we just played this game too much to this point that like did Unturned really did Unturned see itself becoming this big and being played for this long? I don't think so. I think a sobering like thing I heard was like these AAA developers were talking about like their game and how long uh a player would be playing their game for, right? And they said like 60 to
Mm.
80 hours that they expected the normal player would play their game for like a 60 to $80 game. 60 hours to $80, so $1 per hour that they were thinking about when it comes to their games and how long a player would be playing. That's insane. Like you think about, I think the average like player like hour count is like 200 for Unturned. I don't think it's like any lower than that because people have crazy hour counts in this game, you know. So I think the average is like 200, like almost double the AAA. And I think that's like a very sobering moment for like Unturned is like, wow, like Unturned really does have like I guess like a long shelf life compared to what like the gaming industry kind of thinks about their games and how long their games should be played for. To be fair, the games that they were describing were games like more story like games, like Detroit Become Human and Cyberpunk, right? But again, that still should be like something to consider because again, we're all games at the end of the day. Um, but yeah, I mean, maybe we're just old and maybe we just like we want to play this game more, but I mean maybe we shouldn't be complaining so much because I mean we played this game to death.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for sure, this plays a part in it, and just nostalgia probably plays a big part in how we used to, or how we think that the game used to be and stuff. But I mean, it's still a shame though. It's still a shame that I mean, it's not just a feeling that nothing is being done with vanilla. It is like nothing is done with vanilla. Like now with the update, finally something it seems, but it's just still feel like unturned should be unturned. Unturn off is unturn off. Rust turned is Rust turned, but people now launch Unturned just to play RP or Rust turned or Tark and turn off, and that's what they do. Their whole playtime. They don't like many people don't care about the base game anymore. They just care about mods,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
that's fine. That's all good, but it's just a shame, in my opinion, in my humble opinion.
No, I agree. I mean, we all kind of, well, at least us, we all kind of came out from the vanilla scene, like just playing vanilla, and it's kind of, it is sad to see like how not disgraced, but like how neglected it is. Um, and yeah, it is pretty sad because again, we want to play vanilla again, we want to play the game again, and it's just kind of sad. It's kind of crazy to me to think about like there's people that play Unturned right now that's exclusively have played maps like Arid and Polaris and don't play the vanilla game. Like that is so like insane to me that that's like a real thing that people now do, and that should not be the case. You know, it shouldn't really be the case. Unturned needs at least the vanilla gameplay. It needs to be revived and be played again in a more modern sense. It needs to catch up with the curated system, the curated maps, to a degree, and still be able to be enjoyed by everybody still. Yeah, I think that's what we can kind of say about that.
But coming back to the original thing, though, like, what do you think about the new teaser, about the new map?
The new map.
From what you've seen.
Well, the secret's out. I guess I've been playtesting it like kind of like on off.
Damn,
I'm not.
You have?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like I don't know if I could leak the times, but just know that I've been playtesting this map for a very long time. I think they were coming up on more than 5 years. So I'm just gonna say this right now. I don't think you guys are gonna be eating well. The people who enjoy curated content, you guys are gonna be eating well for a very long time with this project. I personally believe that's the most I can say. You guys are gonna really enjoy this when you guys see this come out. That's as much as you guys gonna get from me.
Yeah, for the curated map enjoyer, you'll have it good. 5 years, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Have you been playtesting it lately, like recently?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
And
yeah,
had fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this right now. It's gonna be a fun time. And to those who play vanilla in NA, I'll hope to see you playing vanilla of this next map, because I'm definitely gonna be playing. That's definitely gonna happen. You're gonna show up, make vanilla at least to a degree exist.
So are you saying this map is kind of like vanilla style in a way?
No, I am not saying that. I'm just saying
No.
when the multiplayer vanilla drops for this map, you all better be there. Well, we're kind of like we've kind of going.
Wait, what does that mean? No, you can't just leave it as that.
I want to play multiplayer vanilla, and people better be playing multiplayer vanilla for this map when it drops. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, NA Unturned, isn't that?
Not entirely, because Latin America.
I know
carries.
It's always been like the lowest. I mean, EU was always way bigger than NA.
Yeah,
always.
Latin America carries. Just Latin America carries. That's the reason why NA still somewhat exists.
Which one?
Latin America, the entirety of Latin America.
Oh, Latin America. Ah, yeah. Oh, yeah. There is a lot of. Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah.
South America still. Yeah, but North America, where are you guys at?
I don't know. They don't exist. They're playing. I don't know. I don't know what they're playing.
Good games now, huh?
Yeah. They're playing CS, and they're playing CS.
True.
Yeah.
That's the people that I see in the deathmatch servers all the time.
Yeah, that's them, 100%. I think we're ending off here. I don't know if there's anything else we want to talk about. I think we went through a lot of topics. I don't really think there's anything.
I mean, I would like to talk about one more thing.
Go ahead.
So when's Unturned 2 coming?
Okay, this guy. It's never coming out, bro.
No, but seriously.
It's never coming out. You already know the answer.
I know the answer, and that's why I'm asking you. When is it coming?
It's never coming out. What's never coming out? There is no Unturned 2. Actually, no. Unturned 2.0 came out. actually. I asked you that question on your stream if we're gonna play Unturned 2.0, and you said when's it coming out, and you didn't know that it was already out.
Oh yeah, that Unturned 2. Yeah, 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 of course.
It's
I've
already
played
been
it a
out,
couple
Mina.
times, you know.
It's already been out. It's already been
Um,
out.
but no, but seriously though, I feel like whatever we talked about, like whenever we think about like some new things being added to Unturned, like when has something actually changed, like a mechanical change, like something completely like never, right? Nothing has ever changed in Unturned. Like, of course, we've gotten items
Well, physics have
added,
changed.
we've gotten things. Yeah, physics changed, but no new, like, for example, the crafting wasn't overhauled, or like the skills or whatever.
The
It's
crafting
always been the
system was
same, right?
changed. The crafting like icons. I hate the icon update. I think there needs to be revised of that. I don't know why. It just doesn't feel good. That
I
needs to be
was so
revised.
confused after that was changed, bro. It took me so long to find nails, man, because
It's
I never
still,
used the search bar.
dude. It's so confusing still. Like I still get confused of where everything is. Like it literally needs to be revised. There needs to be a revision, like a whole revision of the whole list. Loki might
But
write up
isn't that
something.
yeah? But that's because we were used to something for like 10 years, closer to 10 years.
I asked a regular player, like someone that knew that's never touched Unturned, look at these icons and tell me what they do. They were so confused of where was anything. They were mad that the barricades and the structures were somewhat. I think they were separated, and they were like, "Why is this separated?" And there was just so many confusing things to them. And I was like, "Yeah, if this player was also having problems, and even veteran players, I was like, look at the new system, and they had issues looking for everything. Like, it didn't make sense. Like some of it just didn't make sense." And I was like, "Yeah, I agree." So I'm like, this is not like I think everybody doesn't get the crafting system, and there needs to be a revision. There's too many buttons. It's too confusing. The icons are not telling enough of what exactly is in what. That needs to be revised. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a good answer as to how it's going to be revised because I would need to look at the entire list of every craftable item and be like, this belongs here, this belongs here, this belongs here. But like, it does need revision. It's so terrible. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Unturned is a whole mess nowadays, isn't
no,
it? I think we just need a new game. Unturned 2, a fresh start. That's I'm not the only one that thinks that way, right? Surely.
I don't think so. I think there is people
I'm
that
thinking
want a new game.
I'm thinking from a player, but also obviously from a content perspective. I mean, we the Unturned beta that we got, there was only a few things added, but I don't know how many videos I've uploaded from this little amount of content that we've gotten there. It was so fun. It was good times, but nah, I feel like Unturned 2 should come out. Nelson,
It's
Nelson,
never
you
coming
should
out, bro.
work on it. I feel like
It's never coming out. We're never gonna get Unturned 2, bro. There's no Unturned 2. It was a great
I think
experiment.
I don't know. I don't. I think we're not getting it, but I hope we're getting it. If that makes sense.
Bro, I was like, I know it's impossible, but I hope we get. No.
Bro, you can't deny that it would be big for like a lot of people would be playing it or trying it out, right?
I mean, yeah, because any new game by a good developer would be like massively be like, oh my god, what this new person made. Like think about like Scott Cawthon, whenever he dropped a new FNAF game, or like Danny, whenever he would secretly drop a new game, and people were like, is this Danny? I'm like, oh my god, this is so fun, you know.
Hmm.
Like those developers, yeah, like developers have sitting power. Even the people behind like Super Meat Boy, you know, they dropped Mugenics. That game blew up because of their developers are just so like renowned and are beloved by people. So that game massively exploded because people know that like, hey, these guys make good games. So yeah, I know 100% if Nelson were to drop a new game, everybody would be like, oh, let's go play this new game made by Nelson. I remember Nelson. He made Unturned. I played that when I was a little kid. Actually, it's kind of crazy. I think people, like people from Rust and in real life, because like they like somewhat like I don't ask about games, but they talk about games and talk about like past games. It's kind of funny when people bring up like survival games because they think about Minecraft. But I've heard like whole people talk about Unturned, and I'm like, oh, you know that game? And they're like, yeah, I used to play it when I was like a little kid. I played with my cousin, and we were like we built this like wood house. It was I was like there's no way this guy played Unturned. But yeah, I mean, Unturned's huge. And I mean, people know Nelson because his name is right there on the entire game, like made by Nelson Sexton. It's right there. So people will know, like,
Yeah.
hey, Nelson Sexton just dropped a new game. People will know, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. There is. I mean, he's the one thing that I find very fascinating is even though Unturned has a low amount of players, like not like not that many players, like whenever I used to upload videos, they would get so like many views for how little the player base was. Like, why do you think that is?
Actually, it's funny because I think about a different
Do
game.
people like watching videos, but they just find they don't like playing anymore? Or
Yeah, yeah, actually, yeah. This is a phenomenon in the one game called like Super Smash Brothers Melee. People generally don't play Melee, but they love watching content around the game, right? Because I think when you get to like when a person gets to a point, like think about MLBB, right? Millions of people watched MLBB when he dropped those updates, right? Because they wanted to hear his take and his video style when they drop. You know, when MLBB dropped the video back in the day, it was like the whole community was like, let's go watch this thing, you know? And like millions of
mm,
people would watch those videos, but you don't see millions of people show up for the actual game, right? Like I think like I should clarify, hundred thousands of people would watch those videos, but like you wouldn't see hundred thousands of people show up for the game, you know? So like I believe content creators and like people in general who talk about games who are liked or have been doing it for a long time and it became popular will forever be watched because they I think people always would be like, I wonder what that game is doing now. And they'll go and they'll look and they'll be like, huh, they're doing this now. So I think there's always that level of like, I wonder what's going on now. And they peer in to see and they watch like a video by you or whoever to see what Unturned's up to, but not actually play the game. I feel like that's kind of like the
mm,
idea.
yeah, that might be it. I don't know. There's a lot of people that know Unturned, that remember Unturned, that have played Unturned, but I feel like a lot of them quit like throughout the time, and I mean I suppose that's normal. Most people, if I think about other games I've played, like I maybe play them for 10 hours, I maybe play them for 20 hours, but then I'm gone.
Yeah,
And like Unturned is to me definitely like an exception, and Unturned like what other games are to me is probably what other games are to is probably what Unturned is to other people. There's just a game they play for a bit and then they leave. It's natural, isn't it?
yeah, I agree. But I don't know. I think Unturned's like just like I think large player like not player base, but like amount of people have played the game. Um, I don't know. It makes it somewhat stand out. Yeah, but I agree. Like we're the exception. We're like the people who stuck around for the longest and still talk about this game even right now. You know. Um.
Yeah, even after all those years. But with every community, you'll find it. There's games that have maybe 100 players, and you'll find people talk about it still and have thousands of hours. It's like every game has their the people that stick with it, the community, and then that's what it is.
Yeah, like there's communities that exist that like well
There have
known.
to be stupid people in every community, and that
Yeah,
stuck
yeah,
with it for that many years.
yeah, and they have their own like they have their own jokes like this guy fakes his fishing, and then later like oh ha 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 yeah he does. They'll show like images to like the community member and be like, hey, why did this fish have a like a tag on it or something, you know? Um,
I was so confused. Just for the record, I do not fake my fishing. My fishing is very real. So yeah, I think have we talked about everything? Like this episode was more just like an update after a long time. I mean, a few things have happened with a few updates now and then, and now the update coming, the vanilla update, which is supposedly going to be like a bigger one. Like no one really knows how big it is. I really hope it's going to be good, but
yeah, I agree. I hope it is good. I hope we get some at least some good updates, good update material to work with. I don't know. I don't know what I just said. I
yeah,
hope that the update is actually good and will make me want to play more vanilla. That's the most I could say about this next update, and I hope it is good. I have high hopes because I believe there is triangle holes now. Triangle holes. Do you understand how insane that is? We haven't had triangle
yeah,
holes ever.
bro, who places triangle holes?
There is no triangle holes in vanilla. There's only the holes for
No,
the
no,
ladders.
who places triangles? I mean, like The only reason is for
It's for base building,
if you
bro.
want to if you want to save a wall on a airlock, you just place a triangle one. But that's the only reason.
Base builders like me, bro. I need the triangle hole, bro. You know how insane it is to not use ladders, bro? It's crazy. It's crazy. I need the triangle hole for peak downs, bro. I need that.
Sure, man. You do you.
It's
Charles,
W
you do
peaks,
you.
bro. It's W peaks. Yeah.
I'm happy with my humble 2x1.
Yeah, yeah. Well, hopefully Vanilla's good. Hopefully we'll get into a better state. I think that's everything we wanted to talk about. Um, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's nothing else really to talk about, right, Pinar?
No, no, no. I mean, we covered everything we kind of wanted to talk about and more. Again, if I yapped some random stuff throughout, I'm not the best speaker, not the biggest speaker. I tried to bring, share some opinions and stuff, but just so people know. But yeah, it was good. It was good. I mean, at the end of the day, what we need is Unturned 2. Okay.
No, we don't, bro. This guy, bro. This guy. This guy was talking about not being a good speaker. Have you listened to any of the old podcasts, bro? Do you remember any of my old hosts? Even me? Like, come on.
No, I mean, I think not. The thing is, I'm not a good speaker, man.
Bro, like, you think about P9 is.
I hope it was okay. I hope people understood some of my points. You know.
I mean, I got them. I mean, I hope
Okay,
everybody
that's
else
good.
got them. I got them. It was.
That's good.
But again, you kind of have to have a high level of IQ to understand like Unturned and the state of Unturned. Like that's kind of like that's you
A
kind
high
of need
level
that.
to understand it and a very low level to still play it.
Yeah,
That's us.
yeah, that's us. Yeah, thank everybody for listening to this one-off episode with P9. Thank you again for coming on and actually just talking because I think this is very fun. This is very refreshing, honestly. I'm glad it all worked out. Yeah. Thank you guys for listening. Bye bye.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye. Bye. Bye.